Hello and welcome to this session on an introduction to quality. Today what we're going to do is once again take a look at what quality actually means. Then we're going to look at businesses who are benefiting from improving their quality and what are some of those consequences. But also as well, what are the difficulties of improving quality? And then finally, we'll take a look at all the consequences of a business having poor quality. But to start off with, what do we mean by quality? What does quality actually mean? Now, essentially, businesses, they sell products to our customers. And when we look at quality, we want to basically identify, has the product met the customer's expectations? Because that's essentially what quality looks at and looks at measuring. Quality is the degree to which a product or service will meet or exceed customer expectations. Now, we treat quality as a measure of excellence. The more it meets or the more it exceeds our customer expectations, the higher the quality the product is. So, when we think about different products or services, let's say, for example, we're going on holiday. Well, your customer expectation is hopefully having warm weather, having an all-inclusive experience where you don't have to pay for any additional meals. Obviously, the travel included as well. You want to make sure the travel is safe. You want to make sure the travel is on time. And also, it has a swimming pool. Let's say, for example, customer expectations when we look at mobile phones. Well, we want to think about the actual design. What about the aesthetics? Does it look nice? What about the quality of the camera? Is it in high resolution? What about the battery life? The better the quality, the better the battery life is. And also, what about the storage capacity? The more the storage capacity, the better the quality. And the business will want to align its values with those of its customers. So businesses, they must understand what their customers are after. What are their customer needs? What are their customer expectations? So what we do is that we try and conduct market research to help us understand what our customer needs and our customer expectations are. Because there's no point of us as a business having an idea of what we think our customers will think is good quality, just for them to have a completely different idea. Because at the end of the day, it's the customers who determine whether our product is of good quality of service or not. And as well, just an important thing to point out, when we increase the price of our product, we therefore increase our customers' expectations. So what are some different measurements then of quality? Well, first of all, we could look at a product or service being free of defects. So when we look in our production process and when we are manufacturing the product, a defect is basically a product that hasn't met a minimum standard. So for example, we're expecting that the phone to have a clear camera, the phone to have a clear screen. A defect would be the phone is broken, the camera quality isn't being delivered as it has promised. Next, of course, we look at value for money. So the value, the price that you're paying, it kind of meets the quality of the service. Being fit for purpose, once again, I'm telling you the product or service will make you feel a certain way and then making sure that we deliver on that. Making sure it's reliable as well. Durability, where it lasts for a very long time. The design of it, the aesthetics, how it looks, and also the delivery time. So how quick does it get from when you've ordered the product to your front door? Now, it's important to know that there are different methods a business can use in order to improve their quality. We could either look at quality control and quality assurance, and there will be a completely separate session going over what we mean by quality control and quality assurance, going through the advantages and the disadvantages as well. And it's also important to note that quality in operations will be determined by whether a business delivers on its targets. So the managers will be the one who sets the targets for the businesses. So for example, a business with good quality operations will constantly meet their targets. However, a business must also consider who they work with in their supply chain to ensure good quality. For example, you wouldn't want to say you've got the best quality product and service on the market just to work with a supplier whose raw materials are fairly tacky, they're not of good quality, they're not very durable. So a business must ensure that their entire supply chain is of the quality standards that they want to follow. So how can a business then look at going to achieve high quality? A couple of different things that we can look into. First of all, we want to constantly train our staff. We want to make sure that they're empowered and they're motivated. Because if they are really caring for the work that they're producing, we'll normally see higher quality results. Of course, as well, look at implementing systems and technology. So when we looked at, the delivery speed of a product or service being delivered from when you buy it to obviously arriving on your doorstep, we need to have systems and technology in place. As well, we can look at machinery and automations within our production process to ensure that there's no human error, that we're free of defects. Of course, we want to kind of implement this Kaizen approach of continuous improvement. So look at analysing the data, where can we improve, and once again have this philosophy and culture of always trying to improve. And of course, we want to make sure that we are setting very clear standards for ourselves and that they do align with our customer expectations. So now we've covered what we mean by quality, let's start to look at the benefits that a business could potentially experience by improving their quality. So the first thing that we can look into is that the business's brand image and competitive would begin to improve. So their competitive advantage can be gained through having that unique selling point. So when we look at competitive advantage, think from Porter's generic strategies, their unique selling point can act as some differentiation. And this is important because more businesses are operating and being online, so the level of competition is beginning to rise. The next benefit that we could have from improving our quality would be increasing our customer satisfaction levels and also brand loyalty. Because customers want to buy and shop from businesses who are reliable and can consistently deliver on their promise. And when we see customers who are more satisfied and more loyal, this will increase what we call repeat purchase. Because customers, they will continuously return to the business. Also, those loyal customers will tend to tell their own network about the business and advise them to go buy from them. And this is what we call word of mouth marketing. And word of mouth marketing is probably one of the most powerful ways for a business to gain customers, because we already we know and we trust the people who are recommending the business to us. Next thing that we could have is that by improving quality, not just the product or service, but for the entire business itself, we can begin to reduce costs from waste. Because when we look at waste, we've looked at lean production. One of the biggest examples of waste is product defects. Product defects is just where the product just doesn't meet the quality standards that you've set in the business. Now, if that is the case, you're wasting resources. You've bought in these raw materials just to throw away. And as well, the business may see overall, if there are higher quality standards within their operations, a higher level of efficiency and productivity. Now, we know when a business increases their productivity, unit costs may begin to fall as well. And finally, you'll find that the business will have better compliance with regulations. The biggest regulation I'm thinking of is, for example, the Consumer Protection Act. That this ensures that the businesses are delivering on the promise that they've made from their marketing on how that product will be. Now we've had a look at all the benefits of improving quality as a business. Let's take a look at what are some of the main difficulties of improving quality. I think the first main difficulty for a business improving quality has to come down to increasing the business's costs. The two costs that I tend to think of will be around their labour, about employees, and also technology. Now, when we think about employees, let's say, for example, if we are trusting them more, if we're going to empower them more, but for them to deliver on a better quality job, they're going to have to be trained to do so, and they're going to have to improve their skills. Now, training, that obviously costs money, it takes time. And we also have to ask the question, if we are asking more of our employees to deliver on a better job, they may start to potentially ask for higher wages. And also as well, when we look at the technology side of things, we have to have the correct systems and technology within place. Think of Amazon, they invest millions and millions to ensure that everything is delivered on time, so they are constantly delivering a good quality service. The next thing that we could look at is that employees may also resist change. Now, if the business is always looking to improve on their quality, as we said, everyone needs to embrace this culture. But employees might not want to. They may think that everything is fine the way it is and they don't want to take on the extra work. So that resistance from the employees can be quite challenging to overcome. Because if we want to be portrayed as this high quality business that's always reliable, that makes the best quality products and has the best service, we need all employees, we need the entire organization to have this same motive. Next thing we can look at is that it also will require ongoing monitoring and adjustments. Now, for businesses to be competitive in terms of quality, they must continue this. Because when we look at Kaizen, for example, one of the main methods of lean production, it's not that we just have these small improvements for a short term and that's it. It's about this continuous improvement. It's that culture embedded into businesses that wants to continuously improve. And this obviously can be quite difficult to maintain. As well, we can look at supply chain disruptions. Now, any issues in the supply chain, such as disruptions from their suppliers or delivery, this will also reflect bad on the business themselves. And the main problem here is that this is out of the business's control. Now, the business can have backup plans in place, but of course, this can cost a lot of money and obviously take a lot of time to strategically plan. And finally, we must consider that all employees must align with the quality culture. It can't just be a few of our employees who really do want to make sure that they are delivering the best quality. It has to be the entire organization. So we've looked at now what quality is, we've looked at the benefits of quality, and we've also looked at the difficulties of implementing quality. The last thing that we want to do now is take a look at what are some of the consequences of poor quality within a business. I think the first main is going to be the customer satisfaction levels are going to begin to decrease because your customer expectations aren't being met. Now, if customer expectations aren't being met, then you are going to lose customers. You're not going to develop loyal customers. You're not going to have the benefits from repeat purchase. And as well, if your business is notoriously known for having this poor quality service, then that's going to negatively impact your brand reputation and your brand image. And if you're known as a brand that doesn't deliver on quality, well, no customer's going to go to you. They're going to go to your competitors instead. And that can impact your market share. Of course, as well, if we look at poor quality within our operations, then we're wasting lots of resources. Customers might be returning their product because they're not happy with the standards. And once again, this just wastes more resources, this wastes money. Another consequence of poor quality as well is that you may run into potential legal issues. Now, an example of this is with the Galaxy Note 7. Now, the Galaxy Note 7 units, obviously the mobile phones, they actually began to overheat and began to combust and explode. Now, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a genius, but I don't think mobile phones should be exploding. So on the 10th of October 2016, Samsung permanently discontinued the Galaxy Note 7 due to these repeated incidents. And the financial consequence of this led to a loss of around $5.3 billion in operating profit, and they had lawsuits for millions and millions of dollars. So you can see that if you aren't meeting these quality standards, you may run into some potential legal issues. And finally, if you have employees who work in a business where the quality is always poor, the customer service is just poor as well, so you get this negative reputation, customers are never happy. An employee wants to work for a business that they're proud to work of, they align with the mission, everything in there with is in good quality. So you might find that employee morale, employee engagement begins to decrease. Thank you so much for watching this lesson on the introduction of quality, and I'll see you in the next one.